A very good morning to my dear students. I am Dr. Prithviraj H.S., working as Assistant Professor of Botany at Sri Madheshwara Government First Grade College, Kollegal, Chamaranagar district. Today I have come with a non-core topic and it is ecology, and in that I have taken a very small topic called ecosystem. So there will be a series of videos on this particular topic. So today I have come with only the structural component of ecosystem. The term ecosystem was coined by A.J. Tansley in the year 1935. So ecosystem is a relationship between the living and non-living components. So there is a constant interaction between living and non-living component in an ecosystem. So the maintenance and regulation of an ecosystem is based on the interaction between the living and non-living components. A famous ecologist by name Odom has defined ecosystem as the basic fundamental unit of ecology, which includes both the organisms and the non-living environment, each influencing the properties of the other, and each is necessary for the maintenance of life. So both components are equally important. If any one of the component is missing, then the ecosystem cannot exist. So therefore, for the existence of an ecosystem, both the components should be present. There are various terms used to refer ecosystem. It is called by the name microcosm. It is also called by biosynosis. Ecosystem can be man-made or natural. It can vary from a small aquarium to a larger earth. So aquarium represent a small ecosystem and the earth represent a big ecosystem. So whatever the size, the components, the living and non-living component must be there and they should interact for the existence of any ecosystem. And ecosystems are interrelated and interdependent. So there is no clear boundary. You cannot draw any boundary between two ecosystems. They are interdependent and interrelated. One ecosystem is dependent on another ecosystem. You cannot separate them, you cannot demarcate them. And we all know that sun is the main energy source. So sun is the driving force for any ecosystem and the energy of the sun is trapped by the plants. So they are the group of organisms that can trap the energy from the sun, and by making use of other substances they can form food, they can synthesize food. So these organic and inorganic compounds that are accumulated in the plant and the animal are again acted upon by the microorganisms, and this results in the self-regulation and self-sustenance of any ecosystem. So well, the maintenance and the regulation of an ecosystem depends on the cycling of these materials, and this cycling is due to the activity of the microorganisms. Therefore, microorganism activity is considered to be a very important event or very important mm, step in the sustenance of an ecosystem. And green plants, as we all know, are the organisms that store energy, and the other organisms are dependent directly or indirectly on these plants, and therefore the energy that is accumulated in the plants later transferred to other group of organisms in an ecosystem, particularly the animals, which are incapable of synthesizing energy from the sun. So therefore, the plants have that capacity to synthesize food by making use of sun's energy, and no other organism on this earth has this ability. So the other organisms in an ecosystem have to depend directly or indirectly on these plants for their energy. So therefore energy flow is unidirectional. It starts from the plants and then it goes to the other organisms. I said in the beginning that an ecosystem is self-regulating and self-sustaining by the cycling of these materials. The ecosystem is sustained or regulated. So, in an ecosystem, you find food chains, energy flow, and biogeochemical cycles. So, through these nutrient cycling, the nutrients or components are cycled. So, from atmosphere to the soil and from soil to the atmosphere, these nutrients are cycled and they are not depleted, they are generated again and again for the sustenance or for the maintenance of ecosystem. Well, ecosystem can broadly be classified into two types: the natural type of ecosystem and artificial type of ecosystem. A natural type of ecosystem is one where there is no interference of human beings or sane. It is created on its own. It can be classified into terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. In terrestrial ecosystem, there are forest, desert, and grassland ecosystem. In aquatic ecosystem, it's a water ecosystem, and we have freshwater and marine water ecosystems in aquatic form of ecosystem. In artificial ecosystem, mainly there is an interference of man. He controls it, he creates it, he checks it. So therefore, it is an artificial ecosystem, and botanical gardens, zoos, and parks are the types of artificial ecosystems. According to Odom, ecosystem has two important components: the abiotic components and biotic components. Abiotic components are the non-living part of the ecosystem, whereas the biotic components are the living part of an ecosystem. The non-living components of an ecosystem comprises of gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and some inorganic materials like calcium, phosphorus, and water. So these components are taken up by the plants with the help of sunlight, and they are converted into food material. This again return to the atmosphere by the action of microorganisms. Coming to producers, which is a biotic component of an ecosystem, they are also referred as autotrophs. That means they are self-nourishing. Green plants and algae are the producers of an ecosystem. They make use of the sun energy and they convert them into food energy. And all other organisms, as I said, are dependent on these producers for energy. So this conversion of light energy into organic compounds help other organisms to survive in an ecosystem. So producers in pond ecosystems are Salvinia and Azolla. Well, it can vary from ecosystem to ecosystem. So producers may differ in other types of ecosystem like forest or in other type of ecosystems. So consumers are also called as heterotrophs. They directly or indirectly dependent on autotrophs for food. They include animals. They can be further classified into primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Primary consumers, they live directly upon green plants and are referred as herbivores, examples being cow, goat, and deer. Secondary consumers, they eat herbivores, they are also called as carnivores. Examples are dogs and wolves. The tertiary consumers are animals that eats the secondary consumers. So in this way, starting from the plants, it goes up to the level of a tertiary consumer, and energy is transferred unidirectionally from one group of organisms to another group of organisms. The last part of an ecosystem is a decomposer, which is a very important component in any ecosystem because they are the ones which degrade the complex food material into simpler substances. They release digestive enzymes and they convert these complex substances into simpler substances and they absorb it. They attack the dead plants and animals, simplifying it step by step. And another important thing is they recycle them and they make it again the component of the soil. So in that way, the materials that are formed are again uh, used up by the organisms, and these are again returned back to the soil or to the atmosphere. In this way, the materials, the non-living components are recycled. So with this, I'll conclude my topic on the first video of the ecosystem. So in this video, I have emphasized only on the structural component. In the coming videos, I'll be focusing on the functional aspects of ecosystems, and I'll be dealing with certain other types of ecosystems in my coming videos. So I thank you one and all for this patient hearing. So thank you, my dear students.